What's up, buddy?
Hey man, it's me and it's Cal, and we're just about to nip out to Ironbridge, take the bikes out.
Just for a bit of a ride.
Yeah, because the weather is passable.
Clement.
So yeah, just going to take this opportunity to get out there, and I'll be just doing a little bit of a mini review on the Crossrunner, because I've had it about 6 months now, something like that. That's gone fast. I haven't ridden it all that much, but had a bit of experience. And
the
yeah, also going to do a review of these, the Alpine MotoSafe earplugs, #1 earplug apparently. That the guys at Alpine very nicely gave us to do a review on, so I'm going to do that. So yeah, let's do this. So we're just double checking that the camera was actually on there, because I took the Crossrunner out yesterday evening after work to do this review and also review the earplugs, and I got about 3 seconds of footage, and the camera didn't get any of it. Which is, to be fair, it was dark, it was dull, it was chucking down with rain, it was horrible, so it probably wouldn't have been a great video anyway, so this will be a bit nicer. Okay, on with the task at hand. Okay, so we're going to pop to Petrol Station. Cal's going to fill up because his fuel light's just turned on, so he's going to lead the way. I'll follow you, mate, because you got to get petrol. So yeah, I just thought I'd take this opportunity to give you some thoughts on the Crossrunner. I gave you a couple of my thoughts on the way to and from testing the Africa Twin the other day, but thought I'd give you a bit of a more in-depth kind of semi-long-term review. I mean, I've had it 6 months. Unfortunately, because I got it in September, just caught the start of winter, and it's if you live in the UK, you'll know we've had a lot of snow and crap weather recently, so hasn't seen much action. But I've been taking it out reasonably regularly when weather permits, and no, overall, I'm really liking it. It's it ticks a lot of boxes for me. I mean, it's it's a more upright adventure style bike, which is familiar to me. Bit of a change from the CB1100, which was although it was a head-turning beauty, was not exactly the most practical bike. Especially in terms of touring and what have you. If you looked at the options for it on the catalogue, there was very little. There wasn't even a top box as far as I could remember. I think it was a luggage rack, but that was it. It didn't even have a screen. It was very bare bones. Very pretty. It's a great Sunday ride, but not a great all-rounder. And unfortunately, when Blake and Toby said they're going on the NC500, I mean, unfortunately I wasn't able to get the time off work, but even if I could, I don't know if I think I would have struggled to have had any kind of fun doing that tour on that bike, as obviously as it was. When you got to motorway speeds, you could just feel the wind blast, and you just felt the complete lack of wind protection, and wasn't all that nice, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, on to the Crossrunner. I mean, this is a 2016 Honda VFR800X Crossrunner, and it's a bike that's been around for a few years now. I think they came out in, stop me if I'm wrong, something like 2012. The original look of the bike in its previous generation, I wasn't a big fan, to be honest. I really like the concept and I really love the idea, and from what I heard, you know, the VTEC engine in it, which is the same that's in the vanilla VFR, is an absolute, it's you know, beauty of an engine, and you know, getting on this and trying it out, I have to agree that the styling at that point was very very Marmite. It was okay, but it wasn't exactly my cup of tea. So I was very very happy when they did this redesign, and I think they've really ticked all the boxes with this one. You've got the sort of more aggressive twin headlamps, LED lights. You got your running lights on the side there, and you know, you got this nice big dash screen here. Gives you all your basics. You know, it's got nice big digital speedo, gear indicator, heater grips indicator, which I'll just pop them on actually, take the edge off. You know, fuel gauge, digital rev counter, temperature gauge, trip counter, you know, total mileage, all you know, the basic stuff you expect on a modern bike. Mentioned, yeah, the heated grips, which are it's probably one of my minor criticisms of this bike. They're not amazing, especially when it's freezing cold. They're the same ones that were on the Africa Twin 5 settings, but even on hottest setting, they're you know, they're hot, they're warm, but you know, it leaves a little bit to be desired. But you know, they do the job for me, you know, and they worked when they're the same ones that were on the Africa Twin, and you know, I was out in snow, and once I got up to temperature, they did the job. So you know, can't be too negative on them. It's got the standard Honda switch gear, which if any of you are Honda owners, you'll know they've swapped around the indicator and the horn. That's something they've done over the past few years, and it's a bit of a, I don't know, some riders don't really like it because they're used to the opposite arrangement. I, for one, though, because I've been riding Hondas now for the past 5-6 years, something I've gotten used to, and actually I think it makes more sense that way, because there's been a couple of occasions, you know, I don't toot my horn very often, but when some meathead pulls out in front of you, I found that I was going for the horn, but I was hitting the indicator, and you kind of, you know, you get all this frustration, you're like, ah, and then you just end up indicating at them. A little bit silly. So you know, it's a big clear horn, you're never going to mistakenly hit something else. So that's something I'm used to. It's got the adjustable clutch, nice big wide bars, but still not super wide. There's still a slightly sporty feel to it. You got, you know, your standard stuff on here, your kill switch and your ignition and what have you. No complaints there. A weird feature. I mean, it's not a big thing, but the key down there, it's quite deep down there. I guess because it's this surround thing, which doesn't look amazing, but it does the job. There's a couple of things I've added to the bike. I've added the screen, jivvy screen, because the original screen, another slight gripe, the original screen was a little bit on the short side and was non-adjustable, which is, you can get aftermarket ones, but Honda don't actually do a taller screen, which is a bit of a slight oversight. Also, I've added these handguards, which are also jivvy handguards. But again, one of the things that wasn't offered was handguards, which is again a bit strange considering this is supposed to be in the adventure category on the Honda website. But as I'm sure I mentioned in a previous video, it's not really an adventure bike. It is a sports tourer. It's in the same bracket as your you know, your Yamaha Tracers and your Triumph Tiger Sports. Alright, buddy. You know, but yeah, it's you know, it's a nice big tank on it. I think it's 20 litres, something like that, which is really good for touring. a nice long mirror stalks, good view behind. And the seating position, yeah, it's a nice plush comfortable seat, really nice actually. It's probably one of the most comfortable seats I've ever had on a bike. And your seating position, you know, you're reasonably high up. It's quite a commanding position. It's really nice for when you're in traffic, being able to look over the cars. You know, your legs, they're swept back. There's more of a sporty riding position than your standard adventure fare, but you know, still quite neutral and comfortable. I don't feel like my legs are all cramped up, you know, and I've got quite long legs, and I've not felt uncomfortable on this bike so far. It's a very comfortable place to be. And yeah, in terms of performance, it's, you know, it's got the lovely VFR800, or I think it's technically a 782cc, but they round it up to 800. It's a lovely feeling engine. It's got this lovely low end kind of burble to it that you don't really get from any other engine. Also has the VTEC function, which I'm sure once we actually get up to speed on the A roads, you might hear it kick in. I'll talk you through that a bit. It's a variable valve timing function that Honda have been using for a few years. They've had them in their cars for a couple of decades now, I believe, and it's more of a more recent addition to their bikes. And it's you know, it feels like you're getting a little bit extra performance at higher revs. When you get to about 6,500 revs, the extra cylinders kick in, and it just kind of, the engine note changes, and you get this snarl to it, and it, you know, you can feel the extra power, and it's a really exciting thing. It's, you know, it's a little bit cheesy, but you know, it puts a smile on my face every time I give it some beans. You know, the engine note changes, and with the aquapovic exhaust as well, it just makes a really lovely sound. So yeah, we're just going to be popping into Petrol Station. Not sure where exactly Cal's taking us. I think he's taking us to Asda. So yeah, we'll get fueled up, and then yeah, we'll head to Ironbridge. Okay, so we are underway. Oh, what's Cal doing, you nutcase? It's alright, I'll get past in a minute. So yeah, back onto the... Can I do it? Yeah, let's go. Yeah, back onto the Crossrunner. So yeah, really nice performing bike. Very sporty. I'll try and kick in the... see if you can hear the VTEC kick in. So I'm in third now, and go to 6,500. You might hear that was the VTEC kicking in, and definitely you feel like that extra oomph. It's been slightly refined since they first introduced the VTEC to this particular engine. I believe Cal had the when Cal had the VFR, it had the slightly older engine in it, and from what I can gather, that was more of a noticeable jump. Some people have described some of the older engines a little bit lurchy when you go into the VTEC kicks in. So Honda have taken that on board, and with this new version of the engine, they've kind of smoothed that power band out a little bit. And you know, whilst you can now, you can definitely feel the extra power. It's quite a smooth delivery, so it's not going to snap your neck or anything. Or, you know, make you pop a wheelie. Although from what I gather, these two actually can make these pop a wheelie off the throttle, but you have to turn the traction control off, which I haven't yet. That was one of the things I didn't mention before. Yeah, traction control is standard on this bike. You've got 3 levels. You've got 2, which is the most aggressive, the 1 which is slightly less intrusive, and then off. I've only felt it kick in once or twice when we were on a ride out to Craven Arms, I think, and there he goes. We were on a ride out to Craven Arms, and we went over some bumps, and the rear spun up, and I could feel it kick in. It was quite aggressive, but not super intrusive. I mean, if I was doing some more sporty stuff, I might stick it on the lower function, but to be honest, it's one of those things that you don't really want to be kicking in anyway. If you're riding safely and everything's going swimmingly, then it's not going to be. It's one of those things 99% of the time it's not going to be using. It's just nice to have that there. We're going to get onto a nice bit of A road here, so you can stretch your legs a bit. But yeah, so talked a bit about performance. This produces something like, I mean, the vanilla version is about 105 brake horsepower, which is plenty for doing legal speeds on the UK roads. This has got the Akrapovic exhaust, which I think probably gives it a couple more horsepower, so it's probably near 106, 7, something like that. Not sure if you'd notice the performance massively, but you definitely notice the sound, especially when that VTEC kicks in. Yeah, the brakes are good, not amazing, but they definitely do the job. And it's just the brakes on the CB1100 for a kind of classic kind of cafe racer. They were really good, phenomenal brakes. I guess that's because it was a heavy, bulky bike, so it needed more stopping power. This is a lot more sprightly, much lighter bike. It feels, manoeuvrable, and especially when you're pushing it around as well. Can I do it? Let's do it. Yeah, when you're pushing it around off the bike, it's feels a hell of a lot lighter than CB1100. But yeah, it's got a really nice riding position, corners beautifully. It's got the sort of sporty style tyres on it, so plenty of rubber to go round if you want to crank this thing over. I've seen some videos of people getting the knee down on it. I've never got my knee down because I'm a wimp at heart, really. But it's nice to know all that extra rubber is there if you do proper crank it over. A lot of the bikes I've had previous, in fact pretty much all of them, I've had sort of classic style motorcycle tyres, and you've got the curved section, then you've got kind of a lip and a shoulder in it, and it's just a big flat wall to the tyre. So there was always that thing nagging in the back of your head. It's when I'm going to run out of curvature on the tyre. But this has got a really nice set of tyres on it. Forgive me, I'm not sure quite what they are, but they're the stock tyres that come on it. But yeah, brakes good, not amazing but good, they do the trick. Clutch, I've got it on the lowest setting out of 5 because I don't know if it's the thing with most Hondas. I found it with all the Hondas I've had, quite a stiff clutch really, especially when I compared it to Blake's BMW. I remember when I first took that out, the GS. Couldn't believe how much give there was in the clutch. I thought, this is weird, it feels like it's kind of broken because I'm used to a really stiff clutch, but it's something I've gotten used to, and to be honest, it doesn't really bother me that much unless I'm been sitting in traffic and pulling the clutch in and out, holding it at the bite and what have you. But yeah, very, very smooth throttle response. Doesn't feel like it's gonna, you know, snap your neck or pull your arms off. But the sportiness is definitely there when you want it. Exhibit A. Overtakes are an absolute dream on this thing. It's a piece of cake. CB1100, and it turns out felt like you had to really wind it up to get the overtakes done. But this is pretty effortless. It's a really nice road. This I'm just kind of pootling along, but when you've got a clear road, you can really make some progress and chuck it into the corners. Get past this guy here, I think. Sorry, Paul Weller. It's time to move. Good to see a few bikes out today. It's always good to see. Usually you get a few out this way, Iron Bridge. I think there'll probably be a few bikes parked up when we get there. There's always some unusual examples of bikes. Always interesting. But yeah, really nice to ride this bike. Really easy. You never feel like it's getting bent out of shape. Feels like it's just, you know, taking everything in its stride. Gearbox is really nice. There's no, I've had some slightly spongy gearboxes in the past, like my Yamaha XT 125, my first geared bike, and that had a very, I don't know, just you never felt like it was, didn't feel very substantial, and you were never sure if you'd actually had it in gear. It was quite a lot of popping it into neutral. Yeah, this, you know, Honda's, you know, they know what they're doing. This gearbox is great, and the whole bike, because it's been refined over several years. I mean, the VFR, I think it goes back to the 80s. You know, it's based on a, what was you know, one of their top race bikes at the time. And even though some people say it's kind of it's a bit of an old-fashioned machine now, I mean, I don't know how you could look at this and say it's old-fashioned, especially with the performance and the way it rides. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This has been developed and refined over a number of years, and you know, the VFR and the Crossrunner now, you know, some of Honda's bread and butter. They're top sellers, and understandably so. It's a beautiful bike. There we go. Again, it's so easy to just do those overtakes. Ooh, some nice bikes. Lovely scenery out this way, even though it's a bit of a chilly day. It's still very nice coming out to Iron Bridge, one of our favourites. One of our favourite routes, lots of twisties. Oh, this corners so nicely. It's yeah, a breath of fresh air compared to some of the bikes I've been on in the past. Not that they didn't corner well, but this, you know, you can feel the sporting pedigree of this bike. I mean, it's nothing compared to Cal's R1, but for a road bike, something you're not exactly going to be taking on track days, this is just the ticket. So yeah, I'm going to stop yakking now, and we're going to carry on to Iron Bridge, and then yeah, see what's there. See if there's any lovely bikes to look at. So yeah, there's the power station coming up. We're not far off now. So yes, we'll catch up with you shortly. Just coming up to the famed Iron Bridge now. Oh god, that's looking a bit different. It's one of the first, I think, if not the first, iron bridges in the world. If you know a bit about your history of these parts, but unfortunately, because of all the weather and you know, corrosion over how many hundreds of years it's been here, it's currently under scaffolding, and it's being renovated. So might disappoint a few tourists. Here we are. Thanks. Cheers. Ooh, Motor Guzzi. Very shiny. Okay, we're here in Ironbridge. Just stopped off. Been and had a world famous hand raised sausage roll at Ely's of Ironbridge. World famous apparently, and hand reared. So they're like mini and then they're big. And we just had a pint at the Tontine Hotel, or Tontine. And Cal's got his helmet back.
Got my lid back.
And
do some filming on the way back.
Yeah, give us some thoughts on the R1.
And yeah, some thoughts on the R1 and my custom fit guards.
Yeah,
which are very good.
They do the trick. So yeah, we're about to jump back on and do a bit of filming. So we'll catch up here when we get back to Shrewsbury.
Hopefully that's recording.
Yeah.
We'll see. Alright. Oh, he's back on the R1. Let's try and get out onto the road. Here we go. Right. I don't know if you can hear me. Hopefully you can hear me. Me and Pete have just come out for a wee ride to Ironbridge. The first mini trip of the year for me. I haven't been out on the bike since last time I rode the Tracer was on New Year's Eve, and I got a big rivet through my tyre which I still haven't sorted. But since then the weather has been awful, and there's been a lot of snow with the beast from the east and the pest from the west and the shit from the south. But as I haven't sorted the rivet issue on the Tracer, which needs doing soon, I thought, let's go out on the R1, have a bit of fun on the R1. Just before I came out on this ride, I've made a modification to the bike, which is already feeling so much better. I've just slackened off the 8mm. Can I make that? I can make that. It's getting the other way anyway. I slackened the 8mm nut, or 8mm locking bolt on the clutch, and I've rolled it down so there's less of an angle on my wrist when I'm working the clutch on this. And, oh my life, is it so much better already. Much less pressure on the wrist and the ball of my wrist. I'm very happy about that. Although having the road, half an hour, 40 minutes out to Ironbridge, but on previous rides out on the same journey, by the time I got here, especially if we went through town first on the way, there's just a little bit of wrist ache already. This is feeling a lot better, so I'm happy to be out on my bottom bitch, the R1. Go on, Pete. Come on, Pete, you've gone into the National. Oh yeah. That was nice, that little sausage roll. On there, this is the first ride actually as well, and using my custom fit guards which I had made at Motorcycle Live. Injection mould ear defenders, so perfectly made for my ear. And I can hear myself narrating on this pretty well, but it cuts out a lot of the wind noise. I've got a little, I think it's a high frequency filter in the actual ear defender, and what that does is it allows your low frequency sound through. So I like your comms and whatnot, but I can't yet attest to this. But I can hear myself narrating here, but don't know if I can hear actual comms. But oh my god, it cancels out the high frequency, like the wind noise. There is zero wind noise in with these ear defenders, and that is nice. I can still hear the purr of the bike. Oh yeah, I'm going to overtake Pete soon. Maybe not yet. Oh, water, no, mile one. I ain't joking. I think I managed to get past that point where I care if my bike gets wet or dirty or not. I used to a lot with the R1. I think having the tracer as well has let me see that it's not always a bad thing to get your bike dirty. Maybe it's just psychological with me. Yeah, great to be back out on the bike. You know, just these long cold winter months and the severe lack of vitamin D, which I notice as time goes on, the longer we have without the sun and stuff. Pete just again have a bit of more attention on his bike than mine out at Ironbridge, but from a middle-aged gentleman, so I don't mind so much. Oh, I love how this bike corners. Just corners itself. Oh, but yeah, I think we're going up to Manchester tonight, see Blake, give him the footage. Pete's done a few videos lately. It's been a bit better than me. When the cold weather comes, the bikes go off the road for me. It's good to get back out. Might do a quick lap around town on the way back. Maybe. The question is, just when am I going to do Pete? It will be soon. I have a feeling. I've got a feeling. Could be bunnies. When am I going to do Pete? Could do it now. Could do it now. No, I couldn't. Oh, we have fun. Oh, really enjoying this. Just get low, get a little low, get the drive out, go to 2P. No, I'm not. Again, these ear defenders are doing a fucking amazing job, excuse my language. Let's do that again. These custom fit guard ear defenders are doing an amazing job. Cancelling my wind noise, still able to hear myself and the bike. Overtake Pete soon. Ah, it's too many cars. Too many cars, Pete. So you can see him giving me the bird from behind. Oh well, you know, R1 versus VFR, mate. He's gone, he's done me. I didn't even see him coming then. Oh, that was fun. Little chilly, little bit of rain. And the entire ride I have no wrist pain in my clutch arm, and that is the deal breaker on me keeping this bike. Thinking, oh, it's so much fun, but I've got all this pleasure with my right hand and all this pain with my left. Thinking every time I pull the clutch in I'm wincing, and then I'm bloody, you know, having a big smile on my face with the right hand that's opening the throttle and I'm just accelerating. But an entire ride, my left wrist is fine, just from rolling the clutch around a little bit. And that'll do for me. I'm keeping the bike. Keeping the bike. Might let Pete just roll up in front of me again here now. Oh, he's in my mirror. Pop it there. I always turn it off so I don't disturb the neighbours. Nice one.
Okay,
We're back
We are back.
in one piece.
That was the first mini ride of the year.
Yeah, that was really good.
I mean, I was out on the O1 for a couple of hours the other day.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 hours the other day. But that was the first mini ride. We went to a destination.
Yeah, it was. That was good. That was good fun. I mean, I've had a couple of solo rides this year as well, but the weather's been a bit crap.
I haven't. I'm a fair weather rider most of the time.
Yeah. Well, you know.
These are good though.
Yeah. So, like, talk us through what these custom fit guards are.
Yeah, custom fit guards. Stumbled onto them on Instagram, and yeah, just like the look of their product, and had a chat with them at Motorcycle Live where they were exhibitioning, and ended up getting myself a pair. They're not cheap. I think I got them on promotion for like £90, I think, at the Motorcycle Live.
Yeah.
But you know, they last for like 10 years.
Wow.
So you know, on an average, probably spending less on these than I would on all the disposable pairs I've gone through. And these are actually really good. They're comfortable. You don't even actually got them on.
Yeah.
No wind noise, anything, but can still hear myself talking, still hear the purr of the bike. So for judging my gears.
Yeah. That's cool. And
Nice.
I was just talking about the Alpine Moto Safe as well. Like they've good little set. I mean they're only about 25 quid for the pack, which sounds like a lot, but they're reusable. You can clean them off and they're good to go again, and you get 2 different types as well in the pack, and you also get a little applicator thing which helps them get them into your ears, so that's really useful. So yeah, thumbs up for that.
Thumbs up.
So
Good
yeah.
to be back on the beast.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to be back on the bikes. So yeah, we're just going to wrap it up there, and we'll be heading up to Manchester shortly to go and see Blake and catch up and
See Blake.
see the BMW. Is it
K100.
K100 that he's been working on with Toby? So that'll be good. So we'll probably catch up with a video there as well. So yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine.
That's it. We're pros. Right, we'll see you soon.
Sorry, cool weather.